In China, due to the high housing prices, the majority of people purchase homes through loans. When they encounter a sudden decrease in income and are unable to continue repaying their mortgages, they often wonder if they can simply stop making payments, which is what many people simply understand as defaulting on loan payments. But what is a true default on loan payments? In reality, our homes are bought together with the bank. For example, I pay the down payment, and the remaining amount is paid to the developer through a loan, which I then need to repay to the bank in installments within an agreed period. If even one installment is not paid on time, it is considered a default on loan payments. So, what are the consequences of defaulting on loan payments? Generally, if you default 1 to 2 times, you will receive a reminder text message from the bank. If you still don't clear the payment by the 3rd time, a penalty interest will start to accrue, and it's not a small amount, typically an increase of 50%. For example, if your original loan interest rate is 6%, it could rise to 9% with the penalty. For a loan of 1 million yuan, this means you might need to pay over 100 yuan extra per day. However, this issue goes beyond just money. From this point on, you risk losing your home. Some banks will initiate legal proceedings, and if the default accumulates to 6 times, the house will essentially be auctioned off, unless you can pay all the overdue installments at once. The problem is that many people think that if their income is insufficient and the pressure to repay is too great, they might as well stop paying and let the bank auction the house. But this is not a good solution, as after the auction, you may still owe a significant amount to the bank. Therefore, defaulting means losing your house, but still having to repay the debt.
My house in Suzhou has been in default for 6 months, and I don't intend to continue paying the mortgage. Just now, a friend called me and asked what I should do. I was actually quite confused, and he suggested that I sell the house as soon as possible because once legal proceedings begin, it may not be worth the loss. I asked him if the house could be sold now, and he said the situation was a bit difficult. I felt helpless and choked up a bit as I explained my current predicament. I bought this house at the peak of housing prices in 2018 for 1.68 million yuan. I paid a 600,000 yuan down payment and had a monthly mortgage of 6,700 yuan. 6 years have passed, and I still have a 1.05 million yuan loan to pay off, but the current market value of the house is only 800,000 yuan. I really don't know what to do. My friend asked if I could add some money to sell the house, but I shook my head. I really have no money left, and my credit score is not good. I can't even find a third party to help me pay off this loan, so the house cannot be sold right now. As I said this, I, a grown man, felt like crying. I really want to warn everyone that even if you have a stable source of income, and even if there are many real estate projects in Suzhou that offer installment payments or low down payments, or even zero down payments, do not easily try them. Although this low or zero down payment method sounds attractive and seems to lower the threshold for purchasing a home, if you cannot afford the monthly mortgage payments for the next 30 years, do not touch it. Because once your income is affected, you may face the risk of default. If the house appreciates in value, it may still be possible to sell it at a reduced price. But if the house depreciates, it may ultimately bring you devastating blows. Therefore, if buying a house is not a rigid demand, it is better to invest in yourself first after earning money. When you have sufficient economic strength, it is not too late to consider buying a house in one lump sum because you really cannot control any risks beyond your cognition, and if problems arise in the future, your house and car may no longer belong to you. I am really upset. My house has been in default for over a year and is now sealed. I bought this house at the peak of housing prices in 2019, located in the East District of Shiji Shangyuan, which was worth 1 million yuan at that time. I paid a 220,000 yuan down payment, borrowed 880,000 yuan, with a mortgage interest rate of 5.8% and a monthly payment of 5,208 yuan for a 30-year term. I had a job back then, but due to the decreasing wage during the epidemic, I was later dismissed. Because I had no stable income, I defaulted on my mortgage last year. When I defaulted, I was surprised to find that although I thought I had repaid more than 180,000 yuan of the principal, there was still 850,000 yuan left. Later, I learned that in fact, I had only repaid 30,000 yuan of the principal in 3 years, and the rest was all bank interest. After that, the house was sealed by the bank, all accounts were frozen, and more than 80,000 yuan in additional fees were incurred, including default interest penalties, lawyer fees, litigation fees, and property preservation fees. A few days ago, the court informed me that the house would soon be auctioned off, with an appraised value of 950,000 yuan and a starting bid of 595,000 yuan at a 70% discount. Nowadays, houses are not easy to sell. If someone buys my house at the auction, I will lose my down payment in my house, and I will still owe the bank 250,000 yuan. Coupled with the previous monthly mortgage payments of 180,000 yuan, my losses are too great. This is the result of my overestimating my abilities.
Currently, the exact number of people who have defaulted on their mortgages in China is difficult to accurately count, and the figure may be so startling that even the government is hesitant to disclose it. The housing prices in Shanghai, China are currently on a continuous decline, which has undoubtedly dealt a heavy blow to many who purchased properties at the peak of the market. Their down payments have been wiped out, their savings depleted, and worse still, some have even lost their homes while still burdened with substantial bank loans. Faced with such a predicament, how they can turn things around is indeed a thought-provoking question. Let's take a look at how many people in Nanjing, China, have stopped paying their mortgages. According to the latest statistics, over 400 houses have ceased their mortgage payments this month. Presently, the total number of foreclosure properties in Nanjing has surpassed 58,000, and this figure continues to rise, indicating an increasingly severe situation. The root cause of so many foreclosure properties lies in the rapid decline in property values. Here's a real-life example of a homeowner from Billy Garden, Phoenix City, who chose to default on his mortgage. He purchased this property during the peak of the housing market in 2019, when competition was fierce. The price per square meter was 12,920 yuan, with a total price of 1.15 million yuan and a loan amount of 800,000 yuan. After 4 years of repayment, he still owes the bank 1,255,000 yuan. However, as we all know, the local housing prices have now dropped to 6,000 yuan per square meter, and the market value is only 530,000 yuan, almost equivalent to the down payment amount. If he sells the house, he will still owe the bank 700,000 yuan. Therefore, he prefers to default on the mortgage rather than continue paying the remaining balance. Many of his neighbors have made the same choice. Frankly speaking, I am not trying to undermine China's real estate market, but these are harsh realities. Too many people have fallen into financial difficulties due to misguided housing purchase decisions, and they have done nothing wrong. Therefore, for those intending to purchase a home, they must exercise caution. One wrong decision could lead them down the same path.
I just didn't repay the house loan for a month or two, and suddenly I was asked to repay more than 200,000 yuan. I don't have money. If you don't repay your house loan, the bank will deduct the money from the developer's deposit. If you owe the house loan and don't repay it, the bank has the right to ask you to repay it all at once. I'll give you about a month to move out.
The point is that the company said everyone's salary would be reduced, but their leaders' salaries are high, and mine is already the lowest. Alas, I am very scared. I thought that I have to repay this month's mortgage soon, and I will hold you back again. When I got off work, I didn't dare to come back. I just kept walking and cried in the office alone. I didn't dare to let others hear me crying. I thought people would think I was useless. I originally wanted to buy you a piece of meat when I came back home, but when I thought of my low salary, I could only buy you a piece of tofu. Husband, please make do with it.
After 10 years of hard work, I am now facing the situation of losing everything. In just 2 hours, I will lose my beloved house. I purchased this 96 square meter house in Zhengzhou in 2018 for a total price of 900,000 yuan. At that time, I paid a down payment of 230,000 yuan, borrowed 670,000 yuan, and needed to repay 4,500 yuan per month. The loan interest rate is as high as 16%. I have repaid the loan for 6 years, but the principal repayment amount is less than 100,000 yuan, and the interest has accumulated to nearly 200,000 yuan. Currently, I still owe 670,000 yuan in loans. Unfortunately, even if I sell the house now, its value will not reach 670,000 yuan, so I am forced to default on the loan. Soon, the bank will come to take back the house, and all my bank accounts have been frozen. I can't even take planes or high-speed trains, losing my freedom of movement. In this city, I also have no place to live. At the age of 33, although I have been striving hard, I now have almost nothing.
Why are so many people in China choosing to abandon their houses and stop paying their mortgages? Let's first examine the impact of housing prices. With the decline in housing prices in some cities, many speculators have found that their investments are no longer profitable and have chosen to evade their mortgage responsibilities. Taking some major cities as examples, the once high housing prices have plummeted, making many home buyers hesitate to purchase. In this situation, many people would rather abandon their houses and stop paying their mortgages than continue to bear the high pressure of loan repayments. Economic pressure is also an important factor leading to the phenomenon of abandoning houses and stopping mortgage payments. Some home buyers may have followed the trend but lack the strength to support this decision. They may have struggled to pay their mortgages for several years, but when the epidemic hit and the current economic situation in China deteriorated, their incomes plummeted while their mortgages remained high, leaving them with no choice but to give up. Additionally, some home buyers did not have sufficient financial strength to purchase a home in the first place, but were influenced by social opinion and investment trends, eventually falling into difficulty. After experiencing a period of repayment pressure, they may have recognized their actual situation and had to choose to give up, while also bearing the consequences of defaulting on their mortgages. Overall, abandoning houses and stopping mortgage payments is an unfavorable signal for both home buyers and the entire real estate market. In addition to economic losses, individuals may also be included on a list of untrustworthy persons, resulting in further restrictions in the future. Among the group of people who have chosen to abandon their houses and stop paying their mortgages, several key players and factors deserve our attention. In addition to the home buyers and banks, firstly, let's explore the types of home buyers. Aside from speculators blinded by the real estate frenzy, there is also a segment of rigid demand home buyers. These individuals, driven by their aspirations for a better life, work hard but ultimately choose the path of defaulting on their mortgages due to soaring housing prices and increasing life pressures. Secondly, banks, as lenders, play a crucial role in the wave of abandoning houses and stopping mortgage payments. In pursuit of profits, banks have indiscriminately lent to home buyers, resulting in many individuals shouldering heavy mortgage pressures. However, as incidents of abandoning houses and stopping payments increase, banks are also suffering significant losses and have to recover the defaulted funds through legal auction procedures. The Chinese government also plays a regulatory and guiding role in this matter. However, there are indeed many issues. Their overly lenient policies in the past contributed to the formation of a housing bubble, indirectly encouraging speculative behavior. Additionally, the Chinese government's lack of timely and targeted measures in responding to fluctuations in the real estate market has led to market instability. Furthermore, regulatory agencies have appeared indecisive in implementation, and their insufficient crackdown on illegal activities has further exacerbated market chaos and uncertainty. This is the end of this video. You are welcome to leave messages below to discuss with us. Thanks again for watching. See you next time.